All You Need to Know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning, and thanks for listening in. Over the next few minutes, we'll tell you everything that you need to know at the start of your day. This is the All You Need to Know podcast, and I'm Alex Matthew. In the top news, 20 Indian soldiers were killed in action after the army clashed with Chinese troops in the Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh. That's based on an ANI report which cited a statement by the Indian Army. The statement said that 17 Indian troops who were critically injured in the line of duty at standoff location and exposed to sub-zero temperatures in the high-altitude terrain have succumbed to their injuries, taking the total that were killed in action to 20. The Indian and Chinese armies have now disengaged at Galwan area, according to the statement. A military spokesperson in China's Western Battle Zone Command said in a statement that there were casualties on both sides without elaborating. In the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic, more than 3.4 lakh people have now been infected in India, with the total number of deaths set to cross the 10,000 mark. India added over 10,667 cases in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday. But there's good news in the fight against COVID-19. A low-cost, widely used anti-inflammatory drug has improved survival in patients with COVID-19. It's the first treatment to show life-saving promise months into the pandemic. Deaths among patients who needed breathing assistance were lower over a period of 4 weeks when they received the medicine dexamethasone, according to University of Oxford researchers. The study was stopped early because of the crucial findings. The study in fact showed that dexamethasone treatment reduced deaths by a third among patients on ventilators and by a fifth among those receiving oxygen only. The news of the breakthrough drug comes at a time when there are fears of a second wave of the pandemic. In China, Beijing has ordered all schools to close in an escalation of containment measures as it struggles to halt a new coronavirus outbreak, which has already spread to neighboring provinces. The Chinese capital yesterday raised its emergency response to level 2 and said that people will have to be tested for the virus before being allowed to leave the city. In news back home, India's direct tax collections dropped by over a third in the 3 months through June. Tax collected until June 15th, the last date for first installment of advance tax, stood at 92,681 crore rupees, according to a senior government official who spoke to Bloomberg Quint on the condition of anonymity. That compares with 1.37 lakh crore collected in the same period last year. Total corporate tax collection during the period was 36,033 crore rupees, while personal income tax collection amounted to 54,025 crore rupees. U.S. equities jumped after data showed U.S. retail sales rose by the most on record, and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said that the economy may be bottoming out but still has a long way to go before it reverses the substantial damage done by the pandemic. The Dow rose by over 2%, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq climbed 1.9 and 1.75% respectively. And it's a mixed start to trade in the Asia-Pacific region, with 2 of the 3 early rises starting in the green. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. Well, the Asian markets have opened with a little bit of nervousness, and that's reflected on the SGX Nifty futures as well, which are currently trending down by as much as 40 points. So we can expect a little bit of, decline as far as our own markets are concerned this morning in the opening. But let's start by taking a look at earnings once again, and we have oil marketing major HPCL, which has reported revenues declined by 6.5% and its net profit declined 96% to just 27 crores. In fact, the company has reported an EBITDA loss of 707 crores versus a gain of 1,863 crores in the comparable quarter. Of course, there has been an exceptional loss of about 1,000 crores, and its gross refining margins stand at a negative $1.23 a barrel versus a positive $1.79 a barrel. There's also an forex loss of 625 crores. Moving on, we have earnings from NMDC. Again, not very encouraging numbers considering revenues declined 12.5% and profits declined 76%, and margins also came off substantially. But it was a stellar quarter for Navin Fluorine International. But while revenues did grow 9.5%, its bottom line moved up 7.7 times at 273 crores. Its margins also strong at nearly 25% versus 20.4%. Now, in terms of earnings to watch today, we're keeping an eye on Pidilite Industries, Indraprastha Gas, and RBL Bank, among others. Another important development perhaps today will be HDFC AMC, where promoter Standard Life will look to sell 2.8% of its equity at a floor price of 2,362 rupees per share. The offer will open for non-retail investors on June 17, that is today, and for retail investors it will be tomorrow, June 18. Now, the floor price is at a 7% discount to yesterday's closing price. And don't forget, an oversubscription option has also been kept for another 60 lakh shares, that is another 2.8% equity, should there be a lot of demand for HDFC AMC. Moving on, we have SpiceJet's chairman Ajay Singh, which has said that the company is flying at 25% of its flights with about 60 to 70% load factor and hopes to fly at 40% capacity by July, according to Bloomberg News. And finally, we have India, which may impose anti-dumping duty on Chinese antibacterial drug ciprofloxacin hydrochloride with a view to guard domestic industry from cheap imports. Aarti Industries had filed the application for imposition of anti-dumping duty on imports of the medicine from China. Now, these are just some of the stocks we can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and stay safe.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.